about infrastructure, and I touched on White City, for example, and King's Cross. So here are some of the newer developments that is really important to create the community of innovation of academics, researchers, and companies coming together. Very new into this space is St Thomas's MedTech Hub in development, as well as Bart's Life Science Cluster development. And why am I sharing this with you now? Well, MedCity has been integral to some of the bringing together of the players, including property planners, to enable this R&D opportunity to be realised. And 3 years ago, we published a demand study that highlighted the opportunities and the geographies where it would be ripe for the cluster development to occur, of which the British Library lands is one. So if you bring together all of those ingredients and you play bingo, you can pretty much hit all of those factors that I talked about earlier, including AI and big data, close proximity. And a quick sort of look into the investment into the sector over the last couple of years, which has increased dramatically, which you can see there. So moving on very swiftly, there are a number of areas of strengths within the region, and I've highlighted health data research and digital health and AI. I've talked about that before, but if I just home in a little bit more, you'll see, and this is a very nice picture of the Imperial Data Visualization Centre, which is the largest data visualization centre in Europe, but it's testament to the fact that London is home to more software developers than any other European city, attracting the amount of investment that I shared with you before. Some of you may know now the development of the health data research hub centred around cancer, respiratory, eye, and I can't remember the other few now, real-world evidence, of which 6 of them have linkages and are hosted within London. So all of that is fantastic, but without policy frameworks in place, it doesn't, the innovation doesn't reach the desired impact. And so I was incredibly excited to see earlier on this month the publication of the report, Artificial Intelligence, How to Get It Right. And I don't know if anybody has seen this, but it's well worth downloading it from the NHSX website. And this is a platform really around the AI lab, which I just talked about, and the investment that's been made on this, really to bring together the policy around artificial intelligence, the ethics, the security, the trust element, the regulation element, as well as create an environment where developers can test and get innovations adopted into the NHS. And the segments that I've shown there are areas of focus for this report, and it's very interesting to see in terms of horizon scanning that the diagnostic space is very rich now, as you can imagine, in particular imaging. And in terms of UK innovators, about a third see their products into development within the next year, and that's really encouraging. I'll skip over this quickly, but it just demonstrates the fact that MedCity has been involved really to try and address the complexities of getting innovations developed, in particular around evidence generation, and demonstrating to the system as a whole how their technology is deemed to be clinical effective as well as cost effective to the healthcare system. And these standards were published by NICE. MedCity were part of that work, including Public Health England and NHS England, and are available now widely to support innovators to get that clarity around evidence generation, which has been a barrier previously. So the last few slides really then focus on MedCity as an organisation. So I mentioned the reason why we were pulled together those years ago, our pillars of work are centered around 4 key areas. One is being a front door to industry that want support in navigating the complexity that I shared, access to the researchers and the academic base, connecting that excellence that we have within our institutions and the research base out to the broader world, attracting investment and putting in place structures that enable companies to grow, as well as creating that community for entrepreneurialism and supporting of spin-outs and SMEs. And so I just wanted to share with you some figures, and I don't want you after tea to fall asleep by looking at lots of small data here, but just to share with you our front door service. So we have an open door. We're a not-for-profit organisation and offer freely a front door service to businesses that want support in terms of connecting to the partners that we have on the ground, or at least advice as to where to go. And in the past 5 years, we've supported 1,000 new clients, of which the majority actually have been SMEs, but also large corporates and investors. We, as I said, promote our excellence internationally. And here you see a couple of pictures that show our presence along with partners such as Department of Trade and Industry, as well as London and Partners, who are a promotional agency for the Mayor of London, at Bio in the US, and also Japan and Korea. And Japan and Korea are a really important relationship for us, largely because they are looking for external partnerships, in particular with the research base here, but are also interested in innovators and companies here because there's a great deal of investment interest from Asia, and particularly in the subject of AI and data. And in fact, a few weeks ago, we took a delegation out to Japan and was received incredibly well with lots of discussions around a future collaboration. And we're hosting this week a large delegation of Korean biopharma as well as Korean VCs touring London, if you like, and learning about the strengths of the London base as well as meeting London companies. So as I mentioned, infrastructure and ecosystem development is also key, and we are integral in supporting that. And in terms of how we put some structure into supporting companies and our academic base, Collaborate to Innovate is a program that has now been running for 2 years, and it's really created to support SMEs that find it challenging to find the right research expertise, and also to support researchers that don't have the time. So this to actually partner with SMEs on some fruitful collaboration. So this program is run with our 4 academic partners of King's, Queen Mary's, UCL and Imperial. The academic base is actually funded to release time to work with SMEs, and the impact of that, as you can see, has been incredibly positive. We are also now running a similar program with Baxter, who have asked us to do this for them, as well as the Stroke Association. So it's a structure that works immensely well to pull together this multidisciplinary team on a impactful piece of work. And then finally, the globally dynamic hub for SMEs and spin-outs. So more and more we see accelerators and incubators needing our support in a variety of ways, and we're incredibly pleased to be a founding partner of Digital Health London Accelerator with the Academic Health Science Networks in London, where the accelerator now is in its 4th cohort. And also we support the Clinical Entrepreneurs Programme, the NHS Innovation Accelerator, and also the P4 Accelerator run out of UCL. And it's an incredibly important way to drive innovation in through to the next stage of development. So with that, I want to thank you once again, and please do find myself or my colleague Hack, who's in the audience, if you have any more questions. Thank you.